Today we got our new incubator. Gonna go ahead and set it up. Horrible instructions, so stay tuned and we'll go through it together. Good day, everyone. We are super excited. Our incubator showed up from Ma Poulet Express. This is a pretty solid unit. I did cheat and kind of go through it, but we wanted to go through everything, and anybody that may have gotten these, it took a bit of figuring out. The directions only explain how to operate the heat setting and the humidity setting and the egg turning and everything else. They do not talk about what any of the other stuff is in this box. So I kind of went through it, and I think I got everything pretty well figured out. And yeah, we're just gonna break into it. First off, when you're opening it, and I can't take credit for discovering this, we did figure this out on another video we watched with a similar unit. The styrofoam is part of the unit, so when you open up your incubator unit, if you got it, it's just a really generic second generation knockoff of some other brand. But anyway, keep the styrofoam intact. It will be a part of the unit itself with the insulation. So I'll just go ahead and break right into this thing. First off, I like the unit. They kind of thought of everything. It's got a nice heat coil in it, and really easy to set up. So we'll just go through that real quick, and then I'll go through this a bit more. These are the directions that come with it. As you can see, the directions are in Chinese with highlighted English underneath. Very, very generic. It took me, a little while to go through this thing and figure it out. But it's pretty neat. They send you with a little feeder for your chicks and a little water tray for your chicks, and we probably won't use most of this stuff, but it is neat to get it. Humidifier unit and a candle light bulb. That's your waterer. I'll go through what that's for later. Your power supply, and this thing's pretty fragile, so be careful with it when you're handling it. Hopefully I don't break it. There's your egg tray. This one I think is 56 eggs. I hope that we do not have 56 chickens to deal with after the fact. And then there's a separator tray here. So down inside, again, the directions don't go into any of this, so I kind of had to figure all this stuff out. I had to look at some other incubators and figure out what some of these implements were. So this one's pretty neat. It's set up with this irrigation system. Basically, you can insert water into these 4 trays. They go into their individual compartments, and your humidifier will sit right in the middle of that water compartment. I'm just going to set this down for a second here. So it's really neat. They thought of everything with this unit. I'm excited to get it going. Our eggs should be here any day now. You'll want to start with getting this in there first. Again, none of the directions explain how to set this thing up, but it's fairly easy to figure out as you go. They do have these little notches into this grating here that kind of line up with these, so you'll want to get your humidifier set in there. And then I just kind of pulled the wire up through here, pull all the slack out of there so that it's just the humidifier. You want to make sure you've got this grating centered over that humidifier, just like that. They do have some holes drilled. Again, this thing is kind of knockoff, so they don't line up very well. I'm just going to go ahead and find some screws in the shop there later on and kind of tack them into at least 1 or 2 of these to stop this thing from shifting around. Very easy to figure out what plugs into what. Your USB will go into this little USB, and that will monitor or operate your humidifier automatically. This thing is pre-programmed, so you really don't have to mess with anything except for plug it in, unless you're incubating something other than chicken eggs. There are a little bit of a different settings. So after you've got that in place, you actually go ahead and set your egg basket in first. Again, this thing will set in here either way, but I found that having all your wires in one place and down here makes it easier to kind of tuck them away. So once you've got the egg basket in place, then you can go ahead and plug in. I got a little ahead of myself there. So I'll get that plugged in, and then this plug-in's really, again, it can only go one way. There's the locking implement on the top, and that just slides in there like so. And once it's locked in place, you're good to go. I just left that hanging down. I did like the idea of trying to tuck these wires in behind this this egg basket as you set it down, so it doesn't interfere with the turners. So these little things down here the eggs will set in there pointy side down, and it'll turn the eggs and rotate them for the first 18 days, 17, 18 days. Okay, so we got everything hooked up. I did forget to mention this is your thermostat, so this will monitor the temperature inside. And again, this thing has been sent pre-programmed for chickens. So we're not going to mess with any of these settings unless it sends an alarm or it tells us something's wrong. And then if you are doing ducks or other eggs I'm not as familiar with, you may want to check and make sure that it's set to the right humidity and temperature for those. And then this is your heating element inside here. There is a viewing compartment, so you don't have to open this all the time. You're able to kind of look in there, make sure everything's going good, make sure you don't have any exploded eggs. And yeah, that prevents you from losing energy, because once you fire this thing up, it will run its cycle. Every 24 hours it'll update the egg turning and your day counter. And yeah, so you don't want to turn it on and off, and you don't want to lift this thing up. You want to keep that temperature what it's set for, otherwise it can interfere. And you'll also want to not mess with the humidity. Every time you lift this up, it's going to let humidity out. It's going to have to, build itself back up, and it's just not good for the eggs, especially in the first few days. In the last few days, you definitely don't want to tamper with this thing too much. So yeah, once you got everything plugged in, you can go ahead and get your power supply. Again, it's all pretty self-explanatory. That goes right in the front there. And then plug it into your power source. And then this is your on-off switch here. And again, everything's pre-programmed, so I'm not going to change anything in here. They do say, was it 35 to 40 degrees is your ideal temperature for incubation. So this thing is set already to 37. Some people bump it to 38. So this is what your set temperature is. This is your current temperature. And again, this is your humidity. So this is what it is set at, which is pretty much just above the high side on the humidity. They say 50 to 55 in the first 18 days or so, and then you want to bump it up like 60 to 75. So this thing comes pre-programmed at 60% humidity. And then this is your egg turning timer. So it's preset to every I can't remember now. I think it was every 99 or every 90. Anyway, at every 90 minutes, I believe it is. And again, you can alter all these. The directions do have, the direction books do have the settings and how to change and go through them. The simple one is just the quick hit to set, and then you'll see that's your temperature, and you can change your temperature. And then once you hit OK, it'll cycle to your humidity setting. Now, it won't change the boxes. It all does it in here for some reason. It took me a minute to figure that out. And again, you can change your humidity setting. I'm just going to leave everything where it's at and hit OK. And then, yeah, you're pretty much done with that. There are advanced settings that you go into by hitting set and plus, and that'll let you go through the 7 different settings for the egg turning and the 7 different settings for the temperatures. Again, I'm not an advanced user on this unit, so I am not going to play with those settings. Anybody that wants to get a little more advanced, or they're doing eggs that require a different temperature and humidity setting, you can certainly go into the book, and the directions are pretty good. It tells you what buttons to hit and how to cycle through it. And then every 24 hours, this will tick 1, right? So what you want to pay attention to and make sure of is that on the 18th day that they stop turning, that those eggs stop turning, and the turner no longer is moving those eggs, because the chicks will position themselves, and you want that egg to be positioned properly so that they can peck and get themselves out of there. I don't have any water in this unit, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for now. And then this is your water ports. You want to make sure you keep an eye on that water. Make sure you keep that level up just inside there. That way the humidifier is being fed at all times. If this gets too dry, this unit will alarm. They send you this little fancy water bottle if you got something that works better, but basically, you know, get it filled up with some water and you can squirt it in there. Might take you a few times because I'm pretty sure this bottle won't hold the amount of water that this tray can hold. I have not done any of that yet. I didn't want to really do much with this until our eggs got here, and then I was going to get it all set up and ready to go. Couple of neat things. They did send with the unit a couple of little spare parts, which is hopefully not needed. A little spray bottle for helping those chicks get out of those troublesome eggs that don't want to peel away. And it even comes with a little flashlight candle for checking your eggs. And we check ours. We're going to check them before we put them in there, make sure there's no cracks, and then we'll let them sit for a few days, and then we'll check them after the 7th day or so. And then right around 14, 15 days, we'll check them and make sure that they're developing. We'll go through all that in another video when we get the eggs. I'm really excited, and I hope that helps. I'm sure I missed something, or if anybody has any questions on this unit, I may or may not be able to help. I'm still trying to figure out the advanced settings myself. I hope to not have to mess with the advanced settings, as this thing is programmed for chickens, and we really don't have any intentions of raising anything other than chickens right now, so I'm going to leave that alone. But if if you have any questions, or if you have a unit like this and you figured something out on it, please share it in the comments. It'd be helpful. Like I said, it took me an hour or two of running through these and playing with everything to try and figure out what's what and how it works. So yeah, best of luck and happy hatching.